it always asks me to approve it before I
Yeah.
sign on, and it didn't this time.
No, I
Just like it
appreciate
just
the
did.
reminder, as you know.
Yes.
So, Mookie has to say hello.
Yeah.
The cat has to say hello.
Okay. What's his name again?
um, this is Moki, the male.
Moki. Okay.
Moki and Mango.
Mango. Okay. Yeah, I forgot their names.
Yeah.
Moki and Mango. All right.
It's all right. Well, I'm not testing on cat names today.
No. Yeah.
So, any particular questions, requests, conundrums, uh, things that you.
Um, Nothing specific. My practice time was a conundrum this past week. To be honest, I had Jesse a lot more than
Mookie.
normal. Usually Monday I get a decent amount of time in, but I had him from the time he woke up to the time he went to bed last night, so I did not have any practice time. So
Yeah.
it was a little less than normal this week, which is it's life. But just to bring that up.
Yep. Okay. Well, let us just proceed then.
Yeah, I only bring that up to say I don't feel like I made a lot of progress this week, unfortunately. Usually I feel like I make some, but this week I don't feel good about it.
Yeah. So, as you're doing the eight gates, um, we're really trying to begin to or to feel that flow of the energy in the inside and out the yang. And you feel it first, of course, most easily in the arms, but it's happening throughout the entire body, ideally. Monkey, no. Um, so um, that's really what we would like to begin to feel. Um, Bill can feel even more deeply into the Wei Chi if he can. But
And I do feel over the last couple of weeks, David, like I'm starting to get that sensation, which I'd never had before. And it is coinciding with trying to do less physical movement and more mind intent and
good.
more energy movement internally. And I feel like I'm emerging into that realization, that feeling, and I haven't in the past. So
Great. Good.
yeah,
Good. And you?
The doing it without the physical motion really concentrates the attention on the twisting and for me,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, you really have to work at it. I mean, there can't be any floating away to other thoughts, or am I doing this or that? It's all right there.
Feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it doesn't always work, but
But yeah.
it's an interesting progression. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And um, one that certainly you want to have developing in God's
yeah, yeah.
too. So,
And it's been showing up the same kind of thing.
uh huh. Good. Good. Okay. let's do the 8 gates, and then we'll.
Okay.
Change the camera. It'll be a little bit better. All right, David, put on your glasses. And you think I'd know, but this time. Stepping out, just letting yourself stand for a little. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Allow yourself to have the sense of merging into the earth. So relaxing the feet and ankles and legs and releasing downwards. While you simultaneously release upwards. Midriff open, jade pillow gate open, Bai Hui opening to the universe. Breathing slow and lengthening. And begin. In the yin, out the yang. See if you can feel that in the legs. Twisting in, twisting out. Lengthening in, lengthening out. Weight towards the toes. Weight towards the heel. Don't tense the breath. Allow it to be full and long. So, questions, thoughts? How did that work?
I still am overbalanced. I feel the rooting to the earth way more than the opening to the heavens. And I can sense the energy going into the earth, but it's even more in my mind a feeling that these are the roots. Yeah. And it just feels very stable down there.
Which is good.
Yes.
So this, of course, brings to mind the 5 points.
Yeah.
So, do you feel the energy moving through your neck and head?
Certainly not as much as I'd like. I can feel it in my arms.
So, is your neck or your back tense as you do this?
Well, usually. No, seriously, I have to catch myself every once in a while, but those catches are becoming more and more separated, for lifting or tensing.
Yeah.
But generally, no, I'm accustomed to the
Yeah.
kind of, getting into some, it's been that way, and it doesn't make any difference what practice we're doing. It's the same in God's, it's the same in Qigong, it's the same.
Yep.
Yeah. Whenever we've talked about this connection, it's been weaker. Yeah.
Do you feel the lower Dantian?
Probably not as much as I'd like to again. Yes, but it's not functioning at the full level that I know it should be.
Not should, can.
Yeah. Well, I've been at it for a while, so I feel like, the engagement and the energy flow in that area in my observation comes and goes.
Yeah. So, I don't know, we haven't talked about the 5 points a lot in this class, but this is one of the ways to be aware of one of the energy flows in the body. And it's also a way to be really sure that you're getting the energy to flow completely through the entire body. So our ideal, and partly this is for Jeff because I haven't talked about this a lot in here, but your ideal is that you have an equal awareness of the energy dropping through your feet and into the earth and out of your fingertips and into the etheric body and out of the top of your head and into the etheric body and the universe that way. And equally, meaning literally feeling that equally at all 5 points. So,
well, David, when you say with the hands and with the feet, what is the actual point on each of those that you're referring to? Is it Lao Gong? Is it the end of the fingertips? What are you referring to?
So when you're talking about the feet,
Yeah.
It's actually, there are two places. It's dropping through Shimeon, the point at the heel.
Right.
It's also dropping through the toes.
To the toes. See, I would have envisioned it in the middle at the bubbling well. That's what I would have thought.
I know, but the bubbling well is primarily focused on rising energy. It absorbs
Right.
rising energy more effectively than Shimeon does in allowing the
Okay.
sinking energy.
Got it.
So if you're,
Okay.
um, we can take this a step further. If you're going to talk about the feet for a moment, um,
Yeah.
when the energy is dropping, yes, you want it to go down and through out through Shimeon and the toes, but when it comes back in, it is coming in through the bubbling well.
Okay. Right.
The hands are different. Principally, the energy goes through and out and in the fingertips.
Hmm.
It can also go out and in through um,
Lagom.
Laogong. Thank you. You think I know that word? um, but generally, when we're talking about the basically the flow, it's going in and out through the fingertips when we're talking about the 5 points.
All five fingertips essentially equally.
Yes.
Okay.
Which and what this, if it is not present, it's indicating obviously some blockages um, in those energy flows. So it can point out um, one finger that is completely open and the one next to it is not, actually.
Hmm.
Um, it points out that um, probably who knows exactly where that blockage is, but it's probably in the spine.
Spine, neck, you know.
Um, and so certainly we've worked in gods on dissolving while you're moving. Um, that would be a good thing to see if you can identify where those blockages are, um, and begin to dissolve them. And it can take time.
Yeah, I've thought about that and tried to identify where there was something going on. I can't come up with anything. I mean, my spine feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the neck, well, this has been a bad week, showing ice and slush, so
Yeah.
shoulders and neck, have taken a beating, but the neck to me is the most likely, this cervical area,
Mm-hmm.
to be the culprit in the thing. I But I mean, I don't feel any tightness, any weirdness, any,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
So
and I can feel it, wherever in my body. So,
mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure it's there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, and that's one of the things about energetic blockages is they can be in any of the energy bodies.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
so
of
in other
course,
words,
yeah,
maybe you have a physical blockage, but maybe you have an etheric blockage or a mental blockage or an emotional blockage. Um,
in which case it's much more likely to be an emotional blockage because
Yeah.
that's where I come up short. Yeah.
yeah, and so, um, as you go deeper into each of the energy bodies, it is more difficult, or I found it more difficult to um, initially open up and feel those. So, but being aware that maybe that's where it is allows you to put your intent into that.
I should go back and review the Nago,
Yeah.
where we addressed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a big bother, but I'm always aware when, especially like this morning, I felt very strong down here, and not too much up there. So
Yeah. And it's great that you're strong. A lot of people are not strong in the legs, so through the legs. So that's a real positive. It's not.
I don't want to get rid of that.
No, you don't want to get rid of that. That's not our intention here. Anything for you, Jeff?
Yeah, just two things. I found it interesting that when you mentioned, or as a reminder, to not shorten the breath, to continue the full deep breath, that I was actually shortening my breath, and that's rare for me. I usually do have a full deep breath through whatever we're doing. This morning I didn't for some reason, and I don't know if you picked that up intuitively that made you say that, but it did apply to me this morning. So I just want to mention that. The other thing, when you said also focus on the legs and bringing the energy in, up and out and all through the legs. So I started to do that, and I did not really feel anything in the legs, but I started to do it in conjunction with also my mind intent doing it in the arms. But when I did try doing both of them together with my mind intent, even though I didn't feel anything in the legs, I felt increased awareness in the arms. Not a huge increase, but I definitely noticed when I did try and focus on both together that my arm awareness was better.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, I thought.
So, interesting. Opposite issues in a way. And so it's all of what I was saying to Bill actually certainly can apply for you, but in a different part of the body.
Right.
Because it is difficult initially to really, because we're standing on our feet and legs, to get the sense of releasing the legs. You can't simply allow them to collapse, because obviously that's not going to work. But we also instinctively, I think, feel that we have to maintain tension in the legs in order to support ourselves. And that's not actually true. You can have a real sense of relaxation and release through the legs and feet, which allows that energy to flow. And clearly this is something that somehow Bill instinctively has, but is a little more difficult for you. So.
Right, and what's interesting or kind of funny about that is I do have a very good awareness of connection with the earth energy through my feet. I've always had a very good ability to kind of merge and meld with the earth through my feet and feel that opening there, but I kind of, it stops there for me. It doesn't, that
Mm,
awareness doesn't go up through my legs. And I've always had that problem. It's like the point at which I meet the earth has always been very sensitive and aware. But up until I get to the quad, I kind of lose that connection.
yeah.
And then I kind of get it again in the upper body much more so.
The, one thing I would suggest is that making sure that the you're keeping the back of the knee open
Hmm. Okay.
because the energy flows through the back of the knee.
Ah,
So that's one of the reasons why we never fully straighten the leg
right.
so that we don't close that off. And I'm not suggesting you're straightening your leg, but you may be tensing that area or blocking it in some way.
I'm definitely not straightening it, but apparently I'm doing something, one of the other things you're saying, because that probably does have something to do with it. But I am always aware not to straighten the knee,
Yeah.
um, for that
No, I
reason. But
yeah, getting that, really focusing on that sense of keeping the knee open is really important because it is if you've gotten the feet to relax, feet and ankles to relax, it is really the
right,
knee that gets in the way often. Um,
okay. And I've never really tried to focus on opening that. I mean, is there a particular way I can do that more effectively?
uh, yeah, don't close it. uh,
Okay.
that's one of those things. Um, start with being aware of the physicality, making sure that you're
Okay.
not tensing in that area, um,
Okay.
and and perhaps focusing on whether you have any energetic blockages in that area.
Okay. Could be.
Um, and obviously, once the knee is open, then the quad becomes an issue um, sometimes. But
Hmm.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case for you.
Right. Okay.
So, um, form. Um, in reviewing last week's video, the thing that struck me was that in the section that we added at the very end, that it seemed to me that the even the bending and stretching, not to mention the twisting in and out and the lengthening in and out, was not happening. Um, and so um, I thought we might look at that to start with, and then
Hmm.
in case that raises any other questions. So let me just point out what I'm saying here. Maybe. So after after you have gotten to single whip um, there, that movement into that pushing down and out movement begins with bending and twisting in. Notice that's what's happening with that movement of the leg. And then it's the out as you're going through that movement onto the right. And I've extended and I'm out here. I'm not overly done, my shoulders are not getting lifted, but I'm extending out through that movement. And then as I step forward, that movement, that turn and step forward, begins the bending in, which continues till you have the follow step, and then you're extending and twisting out. So notice that this arm goes down turning. It's not just pushing down, it's twisting out. And then that further extension there. And then as you go into chop with the blade, this turn of the body is causing you to bend and twist in. And it's the shift into the left foot to step with the right that raises the right arm. And that turn, notice that it turns the left hand so it's beginning to turn down, and it's raising the blade hand. And then you go forward into that chop. And both arms are moving, both arms are extending there. Yeah?
Yeah.
Nothing to it.
Two questions, David.
Yeah.
So at the very end, when you're chopping,
Yes.
are you rotating all the way until the chop is completed?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you stopped rotating and just shifted forward at the end or not. That was my question there.
I'll be honest that I've done it both ways. Um, I think the original form is just shift.
Right.
I realized that because of loss of some flexibility in my hips, that sometimes I have a little rotation in that myself as I do it. So what I would say is that I think the original intention here is that it's just a shift forward.
Okay.
Boom.
Right.
But if you need to rotate, then rotate. But the important thing is that by the end of that, you have turned all the way to the side.
Right.
Not here
Okay.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The other question was at the very beginning when you are going from single whip into, you said you rotate in first. At what point does that go to rotating out? Is that when you start to sink?
When you begin to sink.
Okay.
So when you get into here, and notice that here I have turned past straight ahead.
Okay.
So that it is an over rotation, and it just depends how much flexibility you have in your quad.
Right.
You want to make sure you don't allow that right knee to drop in, that you maintain your structure. But from here, this twists into here and then pushes down and out.
Okay.
And notice that when you come to here, that the right hand comes to center, and when you go to here, the left hand comes to center. They do not cross the center.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. I hadn't thought about that.
Well, that in the woo style,
Ooh.
it it is a pretty much rigid rule that neither hand
Mm,
crosses the center line. It can come to the
right.
center line, but it doesn't cross the center line.
Mm,
It's like
okay.
even in if you in bend the bow, that one hand comes to the center. It doesn't
Mm,
go across. It comes to the center. Um,
okay.
so that's that in this particular style. That's pretty much a rigid rule or a
Right.
rigid principle. So
Right.
what I'd like is for one of you at a time to do that section. Let's, let's work. I mean, you can both practice it, but
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, and you watch me when you want to watch me, I guess. But I
okay.
want to keep practicing. There's a lot to do there.
Oh, that's not what I want. Like I said before, my glasses. So Jeff, yeah, let's start again.
Yeah.
So, so
Something didn't feel quite
uh,
right.
what?
Something didn't feel quite right.
As you're pushing down from left to right, you're extending all the time that's happening. It's going out, 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 out. Now in. See, you didn't start in soon enough. You kept going out.
I kept going out. At what point do I start in?
When, when you turn to the left. So I know you can't. I know you can't see me, but um, you're going out, 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 and you're fully weighted on the right foot.
Yeah.
As you come up, you're turning already. You're turning to step. You're turning to bend in.
Right.
Whole body movement. Better. Don't spread the arms, they go straight down. They rotate and extend, but they don't spread to the sides.
Got it. Yep. Thank you.
Hmm. Good. Try it again.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, that was better. The one thing I would say is I've lost what I wanted to say. It'll come to me.
Maybe in the punch down part.
Yeah. Oh, I know what it was. I know
Go
what
ahead.
it was. So when you have completed this, you're bringing the hands way up,
Okay.
and they don't. They just come up. I'm at about waist level.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
At,
Not
at that
chest.
point, David, at that point, David, when you do the sinking and the punch low, are you just going straight down, or is your body continuing to rotate?
Um, no, this is straight down.
Okay. I think I was for some reason trying to continue to rotate in that part as well.
No, no, you rotate here. This brings you back to forward and then down. And this is that's one of those places where um, your body is not turning, but you're still
Right.
twisting.
Right. Well, is that so? I'm feeling like the twisting in that sinking part is maybe coming from the C curve.
Sure, that's
You
part of
know,
it.
opening up like that from the C curve.
Yeah,
I
and
feel like that
your
could,
intention.
yeah. I feel like that is what's driving it.
Yep.
That I think that's why I was subconsciously trying to continue to rotate a little bit in that spot just to get that rotation of the arms. But as we talk about this, I can feel like it can come from elsewhere.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you sit down,
Yeah.
so you don't have to get up again.
Okay.
The hands between kick with heel and single whip.
Actually, I should have Jeff do this. He's better at it than I am. So you come onto that right foot,
Yeah.
and you have a turn to the left to kick.
Yeah.
And when you come back in from that kick, everything twists back in again. And then you step forward, and that allows you to keep rotating and shifting into the single whip. So where we did this before, like this, we're doing the same thing, but now it's aimed forward and not
Yeah.
on a
Okay.
slight angle.
I just realized that I probably was not bringing my hands in. I was just dropping them after. kick with
Oh,
heel.
yeah. So after you've done this, they're going to twist back in
Okay.
in order to
Yeah.
go into the
Do
single.
it. Makes sense.
Darn, it all makes sense. Okay, you want to try it? No falling backwards. You can start from going into single whip if you want. So remember, you wanted it all to come from the body. This was just an arm movement.
Okay.
So the going into the follow step in the punch
Punch
down.
down,
So once you've gotten to here, you're coming in, and you've got to go right on forward to the follow step,
Oh, okay.
and then push down, chop.
Okay. Yeah. Certainly wasn't doing that.
Yeah. So try it again. Try it again. And so, in that last one, as you shift into that left foot, allow that to raise the right arm. Well, but make it an empty step. like,
Late?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, since you're doing it this way, you're here. You're coming up. This is coming in, and as you shift onto that left foot, that raises this, and then you go forward. So yeah, it was just no. So the arm should already be up at that point. Oh, it's okay. So push, boom, back, step, turn, shift, boom, step, chop.
Step and then chop.
Yeah. Yeah, set up your base and then go into the strike. Use the turn to cause the arms to come in. Don't just fold the arms in. When you shift onto the left leg, let that raise the right.
You've never said that.
Yes, I have. I know. You're doing it with your movement of the right leg. Do it with your shift of the weight onto the left leg. That raises the right. Turn, shift, arm up, step, chop.
As you were introducing what you saw last week, I was thinking this whole sequence for me has been much too up and down, inside to side, and nothing round going on.
Oh, good.
Which is being borne out by my troubles.
Well, but do you feel like you understand
Yes.
where
yeah.
you want to go with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. That's a tricky section. We're getting into the tricky section here.
Yeah.
But really trying to get that sense that it's the movement of the body that causes the arms and legs to move. I mean, this is a really good section to be aware of what whole body movement means, what it's talking about. Through everything, but this is a particularly good section for that.
Yeah.
Do you have other questions there, Jeff?
No, but it's, I think it's really good that we've dissected this like we did today because I learned a lot that I didn't know. And I also started thinking about things that I wasn't really thinking about, such as crossing the center line and, what's driving the hands as we sink at the end and things like that. So it was very valuable that we did this.
Yeah. Because you can take it back into everything you're doing in this form.
Right.
In any form, not just this form.
Yeah.
And I completely understand because I know I've told you this before, but my first teacher, told me that I just didn't understand whole body movement. I understood where I wanted to go with every posture, but I didn't get whole body movement. And Master Joe taught me whole body movement in 3 days. And I can't tell you how he did that.
Darn.
But all of a sudden it all made sense. And that was when I began to understand it. I didn't necessarily have it, but yet. But I began to understand it then. And it is just getting that sense that you never are just moving an arm or a leg. Never, ever. And it goes back to the Wu Yujiang's own principle. If any part moves, all parts move, and if any part is still, all parts are still.
And that's exactly what I was just thinking, and I was thinking back to that you taught that from the very beginning of Tai Chi classes.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I think that's the most basic way of getting everybody, myself included, to remember that. If you're moving, it's all moving, and it's all originating usually from the Dantian.
Yeah.
If not the Kwa. We learn later Kwa also, but primarily Dantian.
Yep. So, I feel like maybe that's enough today because I'd really like you to get this section.
Yep.
If you have any other questions or thoughts, we still have a little bit of time. I'm not trying to.
No, it's in my mind. It's all about what you were just talking about. The integration of everything.
Yep.
Which has begun to show up in other portions of the form, but I can recognize that in this section, there are plenty of places where one or the other parts of my body are not doing much at all.
Yeah. And it's not easy. I'm not saying that certainly. And you're both making real progress. So that's what it is. It's a process.
Mm.
So great. Well, have a good week.
Thank you. You too.
Is today a big day for you?
Today is a relatively big day for me.
Well, happy.
I've managed 90 of them
Yes.
today.
Today's your birthday, David?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, happy birthday. Wow,
Thank
happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
90. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're getting younger. You seem to be getting younger. And I mean that, you're
Well,
mentally especially, you just seem to be getting more and more with it over the last few years. So I'm happy for
well, that's good.
you. That's great.
Well, I
Wow,
hope
90.
one would hope that all of that time and practice would do something.
Well, it's gotten you to 90 and you're still going pretty strong, it seems. So that's great.
Yeah, I'm doing
That's incredible.
okay. Yep.
Yeah. Do you have any special plans today, you and Jane?
I had a couple of nice presents this morning. I was supposed to be going for a massage and lunch, but massage got canceled because she and her husband are ill. So
Oh.
so that's not happening. So I'm not
Right.
sure. Um,
Okay.
Jane's making a special dinner for me tonight. So
Nice.
we're
Right.
tending, our celebrations tend to be much more subdued than they used to be. Let me put it that way.
Right. Right.
No dancing
Wow.
on tables.
No dancing on tables.
Right.
Not even on the floor.
Hmm.
Tai Chi is my dancer. That's as far as I go.
Right. Wow. Well, happy birthday. I knew you were approaching 90. I didn't know that it was this year.
Yep.
Oh.
It is this year.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Enjoy it to the fullest, and we'll see you guys next week.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. Take care.
Be well,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Bye, Bill.
Yeah.
Take care.